Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third Limestone Esports tournament. This is a League of Legends tournament. I'm just trying to fix my lighting here. So it's actually going to be a bit different from the first two. We've had a couple of Rocket League tournaments, and now we're going to be having a League of Legends one. So in League of Legends, usually I'd like to have some kind of 5 versus 5 tournament going on, but due to our current registration with the brackets, and this being our first League of Legends tournament, we're just gonna have a 1 versus 1 on an alternate map. So by the looks of it, we have a bracket of 4 players right now. I don't know why this keeps cutting out. Oh, there we go. So yeah, we have a bracket of 4 players right now. So if you're currently registered, you should be able to go to Battlefy and kind of see who you're up against. But for your reference, it is going to be up first. It's going to be Bane Mid versus Yosoi Fiesta, and then Rimbones versus underscore Peyton. We had a 5th player signed up, but wasn't able to connect with him, so he won't be at least in this bracket. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and be creating a lobby. So if you are in the first stage, Bane Mid or Yosoi Fiesta, expect a invite from me shortly. Alright, and this will be a blind pick game. It'll be entirely for fun. But for this tournament, I actually do have a bit of a surprise. It's going to be slightly different from previous tournaments in that I'm going to have a co-caster, and this caster is a well-known amateur league caster in the Midwest, where I come from. So I've known him for a long time, and I'm happy to welcome Dulos, my Dulos to the stream. So thanks for joining me.
Of course, and it's such a pleasure to be here at the first Limestone Esports League of Legends tournament. It's just a shame that it has to be a 1v1, but although we have enough players to at least run some kind of bracket, right? So very exciting. First up, we have Yosoi Fiesta versus Bane Mid. Now, I don't know anything about these players. What about you, Coach Lewis?
So I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Yosoi Fiesta yet, but I have met Bane Mid. I actually had a phone call with him earlier this week, just getting to introduce myself to him, so we could kind of get to know the program. So I'm excited to see how he performs in this game, and I believe that I'm gonna have to be in the game myself to make sure that I'm able to watch this thing real time. In case I think there's a weird bug with if the game ends while I'm in spectate mode, the spectator mode will just cut out. So I'm going to be sitting in a base, not doing anything, just kind of sitting there. And I'll let you guys go at it. And then I believe I do need to be screen sharing, right? With you?
Oh, I could join the other team. I feel like that would work as well.
Okay, that works out perfect. Okay. So Bane Mid, if you would, go ahead and start the match. And Yosoi, if you would... I believe my stream is acting up again. Go ahead and try to fix this. Okay, so so Yosoi, just don't look at the lobby, or don't look at the stream, as like a competitive integrity thing. This is a really casual thing, so it doesn't, none of this matters too much, but yeah, just competitive integrity, I suppose. I don't know why this is happening, but I'm having a really weird technical bug with this stream right now. It's just keeps keeps cutting in and out anytime I. Okay, maybe I'll just maintain this. All right. So whenever you guys are ready, go ahead and lock in, and we'll be able to get this thing going.
Don't you trust me?
Yeah, it's actually yeah, and this is one of the interesting things about streaming multiple games, and especially for me personally, I have not come from a background of streaming, so a lot of this is new territory for me. And when we get into streaming League of Legends and Rocket League and Valorant, these are completely different games that require all these different streaming. I guess there's a lot of technical challenges that go into kind of the back end of all of this, and so it always makes things a little bit different every single time. So I'm always happy to kind of approach these technical challenges that come. But as we get into this, I believe we have a Mordekaiser versus Fizz matchup here, and okay, the stream is working now. Perfect. So Darren, what is your first impression on this matchup? Just kind of on the very very high level first outlook.
Yeah, so we have the Mordekaiser versus Fizz matchup, and I feel like in this matchup, Fizz doesn't have a ton of kill pressure onto Mordekaiser until later levels, until about Fizz hits his level 6 power spike. Although I think about level 3 or 4, he could potentially go for an all-in, and he could look for an early end to the game. However, Mordekaiser is kind of one of those champions that does a lot of sustained damage over time. And it's not one of those champions who's just going to delete your health bar, make you go from 100 to 0 in about 5 seconds. It's going to take some time, so I expect to see some heavy trading from Yosoi Fiesta on this Mordekaiser onto Bane mid here, and kind of just farming some more. So keep in mind with the win conditions for this tournament, since it is a 1v1, whoever gets the first kill would win, or if you get 100 CS, which is 100 of the minion kills, or if you get the first tower. Now, most commonly in these 1v1 tournaments, the first kill is by far, the easiest win objective to get. And you can already see Yosoi Fiesta playing so aggressive right here on the Bane mid, playing right up on the minion wave.
Yeah, definitely. I think really getting this lane started, Yosoi Fiesta is going to have a definite advantage going forward. As you can see, he gets that shield from trading, so he's definitely going to be taking a lot less damage from the Fizz. So yeah, I think Fizz is really going to have to sit back, relax, and kind of wait until he gets an opportunistic time to either go for an all-in or just to try to tactically retreat and maintain farming.
And right now, at the moment, Bane mid gets caught by a pretty gnarly hook. But you can see the minion wave crashing into Bane mid's tower. He's going to be denied by the health pack on the side that just spawned right by Yosoi Fiesta. And he might look for a turret dive right here. He's taking the turret. Probably will take the health pack sometime soon to be able to regen that health and deny that from Bane mid. But right now, Yosoi Fiesta isn't really focused on CS. You can see that he has about 4 CS at the moment, and he is just constantly pushing this wave into the tower, potentially going for that first tower win objective, and he's pressuring Bane mid just really, really hard. Now, both these champions are at level 5 now, really close to level 6, and we'll see who gets the upper hand going into this 3-minute mark.
Yeah, no, that's actually really interesting that you mentioned that. Just looking at the very bare CS numbers, you would think that Yosoi Fiesta would have a strict advantage after getting that first push, but you see an all-in from the Fizz immediately.
Yeah, he knows that this is an opportunity strike, hits the level 6, and actually just goes all the way onto him. Burns the Ignite, does not have to burn the Flash, and now Yosoi Fiesta is kind of low at the moment. Bane mid does not have the Snowball to kind of close that gap. So we'll see how he tries to go for the kill potentially, because Yosoi Fiesta is relatively low. He's walking forward, but knows not to walk too far forward since yeah, he's gonna have a little bit of trouble right there getting up to the minion wave, and now you can see that the Mordekaiser just healing up because of his natural sustain in his kit and just his passive ability. So this matchup is starting to favor Yosoi Fiesta quite a bit because Bane mid was unable to find the kill at level 6.
Yeah, and that was actually really huge. That that Fizz, went for that all in and wasn't able to lock down that kill. Because I think that in this matchup, it's just going to continue snowballing harder and harder in favor of the Mordekaiser, because the Fizz is going to have to always wait for his ultimate to be able to, even consider a trade. And even when he just had his ultimate, he was unable to win it. So I think Fizz's win condition at this point in the game is really coming down to, can he outfarm his opponent? And clearly he's not going to be looking for a tower anytime soon. So, it really comes down to a farm game, and this is some base level League of Legends mechanics that I think Bane Mid really has to rely on right now to try to pull out the win.
And the problem right now is that Yosu Fiesta is about, 10, 12 CS ahead. It's going to be really difficult for Bane Mid to come back from the CS deficit. So he has to go for something desperate right here. His turret's at about half health. He's about 11 CS down. So his win condition is really just going for the all-in. But like we've said, he's kind of lost his opportunity at this point. And I just want to touch on the starting items in this 1v1 matchup as well. You have the Sheen and the Boots by Bane Mid, and that just doesn't provide him enough damage to actually all-in onto Yosu Fiesta. Sheen is something that synergizes really well with the kit, but here he goes into the Death Realm. I can't see anything. You take it away.
Yeah, I can't see anything either, actually. All I see are some dots. But
now they come out of the Shadow Realm. They're both about half health. It appears that Bane Mid had burned Flash, I believe, to get away and get to the safety of his turret as well. Now he's walking forward. Here comes the Claw. He's going to have to use the pole to try to get away. Yosu Fiesta just playing up on this minion wave, trying to zone away Bane Mid from getting any CS and any kind of control in this 1v1.
Yeah, it's actually kind of really interesting because of that last trade. Even though Fizz missed his ultimate, he was able to get a decent amount of Mordekaiser's HP knocked out of the fight. And, that might speak to a possible all-in here soon.
Yeah, he just tried once more, but decides to go back for the health pack instead. Now, Yosu Fiesta at 33 CS, he's about 30% of the way to that 100 CS win condition. And he's starting to push again into this tower. It's a cannon wave, so Bane Mid won't be able to clear this one away. He almost gets caught by the Claw right there, and that would have been really bad for Bane Mid. He possibly could have just gotten all in, but he's looking for it himself. He knows that this might be his opportunity. The snowball lands. He's going to try to get away, and he just gets barely to the safety of his tower.
And it's actually really interesting that we're seeing Mordekaiser being able to, kind of come back from his HP deficit. Largely, I think he would have been able to at least possibly go for a kill, or he'd be winning this much more handily right now had he gone for some other summoners other than the Snowball and the Heal. I think those are both very. It's an interesting combination of the summoners that right currently are limiting him from being able to go for any all-ins, but right then you see Bane Mid go for the all-in with the ult, and he gets first blood despite being down. Yeah, he was down farm, he was down he was going down with a tower, and he managed to come up with a win there. And I apologize for anybody watching this stream if there's any kind of weird bugs. I noticed that as well, but yeah, we go ahead and leave the game. There's some weird visual bugs happening right now with OBS and the stream itself. So hopefully we're able to get that fixed in the future, but for this tournament, right, for the time being, I don't think I'll be able to do anything. So hopefully we'll be able to get into the next match. And I believe for the sake of time in this, we only have 4 players. I was planning on doing, and this is all kind of impromptu because we have only 4 players. I was thinking that we'd be doing a best of 3, and I don't think I mentioned this at the very beginning of the stream. For each round, so we could have potentially up to 9 games tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and re-invite Bane Mid and Yosoi, and we'll go for the second match in their best of 3 series, and then we'll move on to, I believe, Underscore Peyton and Rimbones.
Yeah, so what we just saw was the Mordekaiser versus Fizz matchup. And I'm very curious to see how Soy Fiesta kind of bounces back in this matchup, right? Because it's going to be, he's already playing at a deficit. He knows it's match point. He has to try something desperate because what he was doing, playing the very defensive game, just didn't work against Bane Mid's aggression there. And he just was not able to find something substantial for him to be able to create a significant lead or get close enough to that win condition. He's constantly trading into the Fizz with the Mordekaiser, but since his build was just so defensive and his Summoner spell just so defensive, he was unable to really find the kill. And unfortunately, he had the CS lead, he had the tower lead, but he just was not respecting the cooldowns and the ultimate ability of Bane Mid on the Fizz.
Okay, and as we get into the second champion select of this best of 3 series, it's going to be really interesting, as you said, to see how Yosoi Fiesta is going to be able to change up his plan, because I think on paper the Mordekaiser was going to be at an advantage, at least in the early game, and we did see him have a successful push up into Bane Mid's territory. He went up nearly 30 in farm. He was winning it by 30 farm. He got the tower down to half HP approximately. Everything looked to be going in his favor. And, if he's able to replicate that, but then actually pull it through, pull through a kill or pull through all the way through the 100 farm barrier, then maybe, he'll end up getting a win. But, if he's unable to find a way to achieve those goals, then, we're going to see Bane Mid moving on to the finals.
And I'm curious to see what Yosoi Fiesta picks here as a champion, right? Because you have to expect that Bane Mid's going to pick the Fizz again. You have to expect, he's going to have this aggressive playstyle. So do you want to pick something that matches that aggression? Or do you want to pick something maybe tankier to be able to just play very defensively and get that 100 CS? Because he was farming very consistently, very well compared to Bane Mid and actually pressuring him a lot onto that tower.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If Bane Mid is really able to just pull out the Fizz again and rinse and repeat exactly what he just did in that last game, then I think this could be a winning strategy. So we'll go ahead and hop into here, and I'll make sure that we're able to transfer on over with as little technical difficulties as possible. Okay, so we do, as we get into there we go. Okay, as we get into the champions or into the loading screen here, we're able to see the matchup for the first time. Fizz into Sion. So once again, we see Fiesta going for a more tanky option into his assassin opponent. And I think this is a good strategy. I think it's very similar to what he was going to do with the Mordekaiser in the last game. But in terms of they're very similar play styles. They're both going to be very tanky. They're going to try to bully the Fizz out. But we'll see if he's maybe a god tier Sion player and was just kind of messing around with the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and so right off the bat, we see the same starting items from Bane Mid. He has that Sheen, has those boots, lacking a lot of damage for this all-in. And Sion's even tankier than Mordekaiser, right? He has the abilities to, shield himself, to prevent a lot of the damage, and has a lot of CC to support kind of the Fizz damage as well. And this time he took Guardian's Torn and Null Magic Mantle. So itemizing against the magic resist of the Fizz. Great adaptation in this 1v1, and maybe Yosoi Fiesta can pull it back.
Yeah, we will definitely see, and right off the bat, we're seeing Fiesta pushing in just as we expected, or just as he did in the previous game. So as long as he's really putting a lot of focus onto killing those, making sure that he's the one killing those minions, and racking up those CS numbers, I think that this could really work out well for him, as long as he doesn't take any negative trades, under the tower or anything like that. I mean, if he just maintains exactly what he's doing right now for the rest of the game, I think he wins. I guess I right clicked.
Yeah, you right clicked all the way to the tower. It spooked me a little bit. I was like, wait a second.
I hope
this time. So I
don't think I took any experience.
He was not. He was not denying the health packs from Bane Mid. Bane Mid actually got every single one of the health packs up by his tower whenever Yosoi Fiesta had the pressure. and it was pretty interesting. But you can see this time an adaptation as well, where this time he is denying the health packs to pressure Bane Bid and keep him underneath the tower. And this time using the shield to kind of prevent some of the tower poke as well. So very interestingly as well, this time he took Grasp, which has the Demolished tree. I'm sorry, the Demolished rune within the Resolve tree. So he's going to be able to take this turret very, very quickly. And with the Scion, he has so much wave flip that he can just push in this wave constantly. The threat only is that Bane Mid is now level 6. He has to bait out that ultimate, so that way he cannot get all in under the turret.
And as long as he's able to stay as healthy as he is right now, there's no way that Fizz is going to be able to kill him, but he's going to go ahead and try anyway. Man,
there's just no damage there,
It's so little.
So it's very unfortunate. And even with the Guardian's Horde and the Magic Mantle, it was pretty inevitable, really. You can see that this matchup just really does not favor Bane Mid. He's at a health deficit right now. He's at a CS deficit. He's at a tower deficit. This is just not looking too good for the Fizz.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the biggest change up that we're seeing on the side of Fiesta right now is really that health pack control. And he just tried to deny it. He wasn't able to. But when he's able to control these health packs, he's not getting punished for his current build. And with his build, he didn't go with any kind of sustain options, or in terms of like potions or anything like that. So he really needs these health packs to stay alive and to stay above approximately 80% health, where the Fizz just can't do anything to him, and the Fizz will never be able to go for the all-in. But you do see Bane Mid actually showing off some smart mechanics here, using his Q to slide through the Scion before Scion's Q does significant damage to him.
Yeah, and that's just, you see it over and over again, but the problem is he slides right into the minion wave, and he actually has to burn both the flash and ignite here. And there goes all of his potential kill pressure in this matchup. Yoso Fiesta now going low. He's going to head back and grab that health pack to heal up and make sure that he can keep the pressure on Bane Mid. He knows that he has this game in the bag if he just continues to take the pressure, take the minions straight into the tower, and create the CS lead. And if he can somehow stop Bane Mid from all-inning on him, or survive these all-ins like he is right now, then he might be able to. But he goes for an all-in of himself, burns the ultimate, but now Yosui Fiesta is in trouble. He's going to burn the heal. Bane Mid now chasing him down. Now it's going to be a pretty slow start now. Yosui Fiesta stopped all the cooldowns. There was no ignite, no flash available from Bane Mid. He could not use his summoner spells aggressively at all. He didn't even have the opportunity. Now Yosui Fiesta just gets to happily farm the wave.
Yeah, I think what I'm noticing here is that despite both players' attempts to all-in one another with all of their abilities and all of their spells, they're just unable to kill each other. So I think that this game might just come down to the CS numbers.
Yeah, and Bane Mid tried to show off his fancy mechanics once more, tried to slide through for the decimating smash, but he didn't time it right, and he actually took quite a bit of damage. Now his minion wave is coming into him. Snowball lands onto the minion. I wonder if Yoso Fiesta was just taunting him, or it was potentially going to try to take that snowball all the way in the under turret. Because Bane Mid is rather low, but he does have the survivability built into his kit so that he can get away from Yoso Fiesta, who doesn't have any gap flip.
Yeah, I definitely I think that if Bane Mid is able to just maintain his slippery gameplay, he'll be able to extend this game. But the only problem with extending the game is that he's got to close a 17 CS lead on the side of Fiesta, and that's going to be a really huge challenge. And he's already going for the all-in once again. He throws out the ultimate, and he's going to have to Playful Trickster back towards his tower, but Fiesta's out of mana.
Yeah, he's out of mana and out of options. Throws the snowball out. He's only tried to get the health back, and he does not survive. Another first blood goes over the Bane Mid and the match as well. He moves on to the finals in the tournament.
Yep. Congratulations to Bane Mid. I believe that we were doubting you the entire game, and then you turned it around and won at the very end. But well played in GG. We'll go ahead and exit out. All right, move back to this screen here.
That game was just extremely close right there. It was honestly just way too close, and it just came down to a matter of some greed from Yosoi Fiesta. He had the CS lead, he had the tower lead. He did not need to go for the all in, but he decided to do it anyway. He burned all of his mana in the process and could not get away from the Fizz as the ultimate came out, and he just ended up going 0-2 in the first round.
Yeah, and I think that you definitely said it right. That second game was actually really close. I think it was a lot closer than the first one was, just because Fiesta came was so near just being able to pull out the win over and over again, and that was really exciting. That was surprisingly exciting. So I'm happy that we're able to get to see some at least some good gameplay. And I think that both of those players were on fairly equal standing. Um, what about Scion's passive? Technically, so yeah, Scion's passive. In all technicality, you have to die first, and a death goes up on the chart before you're able to kill him. So I like the thought process, but in technicality, Scion's passive for it to activate, you have to die first, and you have to give up first blood. So like technically, he gets the first blood gold, and and you would have lost there. But with that in the past, now we're moving on to the other side of the bracket with Rimbones versus underscore Peyton, and I think in more ways than one, underscore Peyton is the underdog in this matchup.
Yeah, most definitely. He'll have to, pull out some kind of cheese, some kind of strategy that he has prepared to be able to beat Rembones, who really is the favorite to win this tournament. Now, underscore Peyton, we're just waiting on his confirmation to be able to start the game at the moment. But whoever wins this is gonna have to pull out something special to be able to beat the Fizz that Bane mid just keeps pulling out over and over again, somehow clutching out these wins.
And once again, competitive integrity. Please, Peyton, do not be looking at the stream, or at least during this part in time. But yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how underscore Peyton tries to accommodate for the clear divide in both these players' ranks. I believe Remington or Rimbones it is currently ranked Gold 1 in solo queue, and I believe underscore Peyton is just a few levels under level 30 right now. So that's going to be a huge difference to try to overcome. And I think the only way, at least personally, the strategy that I would try to go for is trying to reach the 100 farm. That I wouldn't be trying to go for the kills. I wouldn't try to be going for the towers just for fear of being out mechanicked because of Rimbone's superior experience.
Yeah, and Rembo just has such a superior understanding of the game, right? He's coming at this. He knows that he will probably win this matchup, but he can't get too cocky, right? We can see that underscore Peyton maybe is not so high in rank, but he could potentially come at this with an entirely different kind of strategy that we're used to seeing, right? He could come at this very aggressive right off the bat, come with something that Rem Bones will not expect, and potentially could catch him off guard and could pull out 2 wins in this best of 3.
I totally agree. I'm actually really looking forward to this match just to see, it's not. I'm interested to see the strategy that Peyton pulls out here because there is a clear divide between the two players, and I'm ready to see how they try to meet that. But right off the bat, we do see trying to get this changed over. We see that Rimbones has opted in for what I believe is Machine Gun Lulu build. I do applaud him for taking a bit of giving himself a bit of a handicap in this matchup, just for I guess competitive sake. But and we do see Peyton go for I believe it's their trademark Nico. I took a brief glance at at a lot of the players' match histories before this tournament, and I did see a lot of Nico in this player's match history. So I'm really excited to see how well they're able to perform on it.
And so right off the bat, we can talk about some of the items. So it's the Lost Chapter from underscore Peyton, which provides some of ability power and some mana as well. So he's going to be able to clear away these waves with ease, and as well as being able to poke out the Lulu, right? Who went for a more aggressive summoner, potentially looking for the all-in, taking the Ignite and the Flash, but also doing the Machine Gun Lulu things where you're building the attack speed first, it kind of just zoning away underscore Payne. You can see Rembones just positioned very aggressively on the minion wave, about to auto down and kind of just polymorph. And look at that damage from Rembo just coming out right off the bat. Underscore Payton just unable to respond. And he's going to be forced all the way back to his tower, and as he's at a major health deficit at this time.
Yeah, and that's just one of those the early trades that you're able to take with a lot of ranged champions in League of Legends is something that a lot of players don't get a really strong understanding of until they've played for years. Being able just to walk past the minion wave and just to continue attacking and attacking your opponent is something that a few champions can do almost without being punished at all. And Lulu is one of those champions, given that she has a shield and movement speed, and she just is able to dish out tons of damage with her autos.
And you can see underscore Payton starting to heal up a little bit with that health regen. Was denied the health pack by Rembones, but this next one should be spawning soon in about 15 seconds. Just kind of waiting, cannot afford to walk up at this point in time, even though he kind of needs to just go for the CS win condition at this point. Rembones is just pressuring him way too hard, and you can see that with just one combo, you can take him from about 100 health to about 25% health. So underscore Payton's in a little bit of trouble right now. He's gonna walk forward and get polymorphed, and Rembo's possibly gonna go down. He's gonna have to use the wild growth. Takes 2 tower shots and almost a big misstep from Rembones right there.
That was actually really huge. The heal summoner spell coming out of Payton is actually almost able to win them the game in a really impressive way. Being able to get Rembones rooted under tower and then dropping the heal in a way that Rembones is clearly not expecting. That was almost a really clutch victory. But luckily for Rembones, is level 6 and was able to survive, and nothing came of it. But I do think that both of these players are on a much more equal standing after that trade.
And Rembo's unable to have the ultimate available for the next all-in, and underscore Payton does have the ultimate still has the Pop Blossom, could look for a potential all-in right here, and Nico definitely does enough damage to be able to take away all of Rembo's health, especially because the Wild Growth isn't available. If you can somehow catch him using his E ability, his health picks aggressively, and he not able to find that shield on himself, then you could definitely find the all and find all the damage that you need. But he's just playing so far back right now underneath the tower, just giving Rembones a lot of respect.
Yeah, and we do see here Rembones is coming up with a 20 farm or 20 CS advantage. Both players are playing very far back, going for their health packs, but Rembones is taking a clear lead in one of the win conditions of this 1 versus 1, and that is the farm department. I think at this point, just based on the showing of Rembones, his very high level of aggression throughout this game, I think that Payton is going to have to rely on Rembones making another mistake just like he did earlier, walking under tower, getting rooted, and then ultimately losing the game.
Right now, you can see how much underscore Payton does with just throwing a Q ability onto Rembones. Rembones does not have any resistances at all. Lulu is a very squishy champion, doesn't have a lot of base health, so very susceptible to these all-ins, right? But underscore Payton playing a lot aggressively, Rembones flashing, and he's gonna try to find a polymorph going forward. This is a close one, but the Pop Blossom just not in time to give him the shield. Rembones takes game 1.
Yeah, that was actually really, really close to going in the favor of Payton. The only saving grace for Rembones there was the polymorph, which stopped the ultimate coming out from Payton and doing lethal amounts of damage to the Lulu.
Man, that was just so close. What a clutch polymorph from Rembones right there, and just so unfortunate for underscore Payton, but definitely was not out of his control to win. It didn't seem like like Rembones was playing at his full capacity, kind of toying around with underscore Payton a bit, flashing forward so aggressively, and actually misstepping a bit by taking some turret shots early in the game. So we'll see if underscore Payton could maybe get a victory in this match and tie it at 1-1 as we move into the next game.
Yeah, and honestly, there was two times in that match that I thought Rimbones was lost. I thought that he was gonna die, and I didn't expect that to happen at all. I expected a one way, just domination station type of game, and I'm really excited to see that. It wasn't that entirely. We were able to see Rimbones, really dip down into like 100 HP, where he definitely could have been killed. So I'm really excited to see what happens in the next game, seeing as both players had a really close match in this past one.
And we'll have to see if underscore Payton opts for the Nico again, right? Because the Nico seemed to be pretty effective against Rembones' Lulu, but he just was not playing aggressively enough, putting a lot of respect to Rembones on the Lulu, even though that he was very susceptible to this poke, very susceptible to this all-in potential that Nico has. And it was a full mana bar on underscore Payton, right? And he just was not throwing out the abilities frequently enough and not hitting enough abilities to be able to threaten a potential all-in onto Rembones.
Yeah, and with that said, I think that that the trick that underscore Payton is going to have to pull, to get this victory, is really, Rimbones' over aggression and being able to do something, anything, to surprise him in a way that he's unable to to conduct himself in a way that he would normally play. Like that, what I'm trying to say is that Payton almost got a few kills there because Rimbones got cocky and played too far forward. And if that happens again, I fully expect Payton to have at least a decent shot at it, pulling out this next win. So we do see both players have locked in their champion for this second match, this match-defining game, which will determine potentially determine who moves on to the finals. If Remington wins or Rimbones wins, he'll be moving on. If Payton wins, then we'll have to go back and play a third match to see who comes out of it.
So right off the bat, we see a mirror matchup, actually. We see the Nico versus the Nico right here. Rembone's kind of picking the Nico and seeing what underscore Payton can do against his own Nico, and taking the heal as well. So pretty much the exact same thing, except Rembones has Electrocute versus the Arcane Comet of underscore Payton. Now, Zach, you are a mid lane player. You do play Nico somewhat frequently. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how this mirror matchup might go?
Yeah, so I think one of the really interesting things about Nico is her ability to go invisible with a movement speed boost, and it's something that a lot of players who are new to Nico don't utilize correctly. They'll wait and hold it until they are and wait until they're at a point that they need to defend themselves and run away. Uh, that's not me. I'm not the Ari there. But but what I'm looking for in this matchup is for either player to move forward, to move aggressively towards their opponent while invisible, and then look for that root and then into the Q combo. So that's it. It's a really easy way to catch your opponent off guard, and and get the upper hand in a matchup that is otherwise completely equal.
Yeah, so right here, underscore Payton already taking health deficits, and Rembones was able to find the Q, unable to find the root though, and he's playing so aggressively compared to underscore Payton, but he gets rooted up here, was not able to throw out the Q actually, and an early heal comes out from underscore Payton, and that might just spell disaster.
Yeah, that's an early summoner spell, and that's a really big one that almost won Payton the game last time. And without that, it's going to be an uphill battle moving forward for Payton to be able to come back out of this. And we do see Rimbones is able to get the wave advantage, so he has a significantly larger amount of minions pushing into Peyton's tower, and this is just going to make Peyton's life here trying to farm just that much more difficult, as the tower will be doing a significant amount of damage to the minions, and making it very just challenging to farm.
And all things considered, they are even in CS at this time. It's 7-6, so it's going to be a close match regardless. And this heal is going to come up fairly soon. Now, Rembo's not playing too aggressively to be able to abuse the summoner spell advantage that he has in this time. And, Rembo's getting caught up by the root. He's going to move forward, grab another root, putting a lot of damage on the underscore Peyton, and actually gets the electrocute proc off as well. It'll be very critical in this next all-in.
Yeah, I think that this match was almost stabilized until that electrocute proc went off, and I think Rimbones clearly now has the HP advantage, now has a level advantage, and is once again pushing the wave under tower, and I think this is really shaping up to be a lot like the matchup that we just watched with the sorry. Rimbones goes for an all-in there, is able to get a nice root from across the minion wave, and is able to get the kill with the electrocute proc. I didn't expect it, but there we go.
Yeah, it didn't seem like Peyton expected it either, but GG's to both players. Congratulations to Rembones, who will move to the finals to play Bane mid in another best of 3.
Yeah, and we are looking here into the finals between Bane Mid, Rimbones, and I'm excited to see how this goes, because Bane Mid does have an assassin playstyle with the Fizz that, for players that are unused to playing against assassins like Fizz, can be challenging. So if Rimbones is unfamiliar with these kinds of high burst, very power spike oriented matchups, then Bane Mid might actually have a chance at coming out on top of this matchup, despite his clear rank disadvantage.
And so now we're gonna head into the game. We'll see what Rembones ends up picking. Oh, this is not what we want. We were both on the same side. I'll go to Bane Mid. You'll go to Rembones. And we'll start this game pretty darn soon. So now Rembones checking to see if Bane Mid is ready, and we're gonna head into the finals of this League of Legends tournament, the first ever Limestone Esports League of Legends tournament. We'll have to see which each player picks. Expect the Fizz to come out from Bane Mid, and we'll see what the response is from Rembones.
Yeah, I think we've so far seen Rimbones pull out now an AD Lulu and an electrocute Nico, and I think that by picking both of these champions, he's willing to play almost anything. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he goes with here to beat the Fizz in the or what I suppose will be the Fizz in this matchup. And like I said, for players that are unused to playing against Fizz or similar assassin-based champions, this champion select is very important that he gets it right. Otherwise, he's just going to get one shot, and the match will be over very quickly.
Don't you trust me?
Yeah, so I believe we see it's going to be the Yasuo lock-in for Rembones, and on this side, it's going to be the Fizz lock-in for Bane Mid. So we're going to see a pretty spicy matchup, both players taking Ignite as well, so it's going to be a very aggressive one.
Yeah, this is going to be probably the most, I would say, mid lane-like matchup that we've seen so far, where a player's HP bar can disappear in a matter of seconds. Both players are going to be at risk of getting one shot at almost every single point in the game after, I would say, the level 6 marker. And after level 6, both champions can kill each other, and it's really a matter of who dodges what, who outskills who, and I think we're really going to see the true champion of this 1 versus 1 bracket emerge out of matchups like this. We do see both champions moving towards the center of the map, and this is kind of unfortunate with this 1 versus 1 style and the way that at least Riot's kind of structured the spectator mode and the way all this interacts. But okay, you confused me a lot right there. For some reason I thought that we were going against Nico here, and that this didn't seem right at all.
Yeah, I did surprise Rembones quite a bit. I could tell, but now his starting items is really interesting because he grabs the Guardian's Hammer, and typically you don't go for these starting items in a 1v1, even though they're gold efficient, because it just doesn't provide you enough damage. Right here, Rembones gets the level advantage. He's going for the all-in potentially, but Bane mid gonna use pull to get away. Kind of get zoned off of this minion wave. 5 of the first minions of the 6th minion wave go over the Renbones. Now he's zoning Bane mid away from these top 3 minions. So already getting this minion advantage and about to get the tower health advantage as well as he pushes into Bane mid.
Yeah, and we just saw Rembones go for a classic Yasuo trick of I'm gonna just slide through all of your minions and attack you right from the very beginning, and I'm gonna try to flash mastery and get in your head, and this is something that you see a lot of Yasuos do. They just play extremely aggressive, they slide around, and we do say Ban mid try to go for a quick trade there, but Rembones immediately responds with an ignite and forces him away. This is once again going in favor of Rimbones. So we're going to just have to see if Bane mid is able to hold enough HP for his level 6 ultimate, and then possibly be able to kill the Yasuo in an all-in trade. But I think the biggest thing that we're going to have to look for when that happens is the Yasuo wind wall. If Yasuo is able to wind wall the Fizz ultimate before it hits him, Yasuo wins this matchup all day, every day, no questions asked. So Fizz is going to have to be very careful and very particular about the way that he throws out his ultimate to ensure that it hits. Because if it doesn't hit, it's probably game over.
Yeah, and something really important to note is that Rembones did burn that Ignite earlier, and now both players are at level 6. Bane mid has the Ignite available. He has a Summoner Spell advantage. He could potentially look for something, but the Wind Wall comes out and blocks the Fizz ultimate. Now Rembones, man, he definitely has the advantage in this matchup now. Bane mid is just at the mercy of when Rembones decides to all in. He might just look for it right here.
Yeah, I totally agree. Rimbones has probably got about the next minute or so to take advantage of the ultless Fizz, and kind of going into a little bit of a Fizz strategy coming from I've played a significant amount of Fizz myself. I think the only way he's going to be able to reasonably get his ultimate onto the Yasuo is to cast it in the middle of a combo. He can't lead with it like he did, just like we just saw, where he kind of runs at the Yasuo and tries to throw it out. He'd have to throw it out in a situation like he was just in, where he slides into the Yasuo and then throws the ultimate before the Yasuo can react with his wind wall.
Yeah, and I have to see if there's going to be an adaptation coming up for Bane mid. His ultimate coming up in about 27 seconds. So we'll see another all-in quite soon, but the Ignite now available for Rembones. We'll see if he decides to use it in this next all-in. Problem is, he's pressuring Bane mid under the turret, so an all-in is going to be very risky. But Rembones has the health advantage. He could potentially look for it, but it would be extremely greedy. He has the CS advantage, 34-8 at this time. He definitely has turret advantage. No single minion has touched the tower of Rembones.
Yeah, this is really going in favor of the Yasuo right now in terms of farm. Rimbones really is doing a good job of ensuring that he's making the most of a lot of these minions coming his way, and he's able to rack up a respectable amount of farm, and it's really gonna block off a win condition for the Fizz. But right there, you do see the wind wall come out of the Yasuo, and that's a significant cooldown.
Opportunity right here. Bane mid now pushing forward. He knows that the wind wall's down. Gonna miss the ultimate though, and here comes the all-in anyway. Both ignites about to come down. Rembones has the advantage right now, but here comes the troll bull. Bane mid not finding enough damage. Rembones slicing and dicing through his way to victory.
Yeah, and we saw right there the ultimate whip for the Fizz in this matchup is everything. If that thing is missed, then you might as well just run the other way, because there's no way you're going to do enough damage. But I do respect Bane mid for at least trying to go for the trade there. You know, he tried to get the autos off because Fizz does have a decent amount of auto attack damage with his auto attack reset. Um, and it can surprise a lot of players, but unfortunately for him, Yasuo just has way more dueling potential in that kind of scenario. And so after the ultimate was gone, it was all Yasuo all day.
And we'll have to see how Bane mid responds in game two. Will he be able to tie it back up by potentially switching off of the Fizz, right? Because he knows that Rembones has this Yasuo counter to the Fizz. He's paying him a lot of respect. Yasuo just has so much dueling potential. And if he picks the Fizz again, it could just spell disaster just in the character select right away. And we'll have to see if Renbones, picks the Yasuo again. Um, Rembones could pivot to something else. We've seen him play now 3 unique champions in this tournament, and he might just make it 4.
Yeah, I think that might be the move. We've seen Bane mid only play a single champion in this entire tournament, and I think he's got more than just Fizz up his sleeve. And if Fizz is just naturally getting countered by Yasuo, I think the only move is to change champions to try to shake it up, look for a different matchup, and to try to abuse that. And in a strange turn of mind games, I also expect Rimbones to expect that Bane mid is, gonna try to change up his strategy. So he also might change his champion in accordance with that.
So right here, we see the players go into the champion select. Now we'll see if Rembones, he's hovering the Fizz right now. He might just lock it in for himself and go for the potential mirror matchup. But Bane mid, we'll have to see what the response is. Is he going to keep the Fizz, or is he going to pivot to something else that he might be, slightly less comfortable on, but maybe could take a win off of Remington, who is currently undefeated in this tournament.
Yeah, it's interesting that Rimbones is playing Fizz now. I believe in the last champion select, he did type that he did not own Fizz. I think he was intending on playing Fizz and just kind of going for mirror matchups only. And so I think he actually just bought the champion because he didn't own it in the previous match. So this is probably the first time that he's playing this champion, in which case Bane mid would have a significant advantage.
And Remington just kind of taunting him with his own main champion, right? This is his way of saying, I know I'm the better player. I know that I could win this matchup on the champion that I'm playing for the first time, that I just bought from the shop to play in this tournament against you. And now Bane mid going to respond with the Garen, with Conqueror.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, it sounded like okay. It sounded like we lagged out there for a second, but yeah, and actually, I'm really happy to see this because I think Garen should win this matchup, and and, and I'm really excited to see how Bane mid is able to play this out because Garen is actually a well-known counter to most assassins in the mid lane. So things like Zed, Yasuo, Irelia, Fizz, all of these champions really do struggle against champions like Garen, who have a high amount of just base damage, tankiness, and are able to use a shield to their advantage. So, this is very different from the match that we just saw with Yasuo into Fizz, where Yasuo was the advantaged champion. But now we see Rimbones being countered in this matchup by the Garen.
Now Bane mid pulling out his pocket pick Garen right here. We'll have to see if it leads him to victory in this pivotal game 2 of the finals in this Limestone Esports tournament. Now Rembones, will he try to go for an all-in right at level 3? Right when the minions spawn, the silence coming 3 of Looters. Oh man, this is gonna be dirty. This is getting close. Bane mid just got exhausted as well. Remington threw out his summoner spell exceptionally early. Now Bane mid sitting at a health deficit in this matchup, but he has the health regen built into the kit of Garen, has the refillable health potions as well. So we'll have to see how he kind of goes into this next all-in right here, because Remington playing so aggressive on the Fizz, kind of limit testing right here, seeing how much damage this champion can do.
Yeah, that's one of the huge reasons that Garen is so good into assassins, because he can take those trades like that and he can lose them, but he's just gonna walk away for 10 or so seconds and come back with almost all of his HP regened, and it's gonna be like nothing ever happened. So the Fizz is gonna really have to pretty much just only one shot the Garen. That's the only way that Fizz kills Garen. He can't just go. He can't go for these in and out trades. He has to just murder him all in one go. Otherwise, Garen is just going to step away and heal everything back that Fizz just burned his cooldowns for. But you do see Rimbones going for those in and out trades there and being able to utilize the health packs to try to get some regen of his own. And he does hit level 6 here, so if Fizz ever does win this matchup, it is around now when he has his ultimate, or at least any time that he does have his ultimate up.
And the problem is that Bane mid has the wave in a favorable position, right? He's right by his turret. The minion is just freezing there around his turret, and Remington or Rembones can't go in turret dive this, right? He doesn't have the damage to be able to just throw out his entire combo and get out and delete Bane mid. But Bane mid is now pushing into him. He's getting into dangerous territory, going to have to respect Rembones here in this all-in, but he doesn't have exhaust available, I don't believe. The Ignite is here for Bane mid. This could potentially happen right now. He's at level 7 moving forward. He has the level advantage because he potentially looked for it, but he's just going to decide to go for the farm win condition instead.
Yep, and we actually do see the Fizz all in coming in despite the minion disadvantage. He does yoink the health pack, but he is just losing that trade like completely. Like there's actually, excuse me, so little that the Fizz is able to do right now. He was able to dish out about 300 damage onto the Garen, but that's worth nothing in about 15 seconds. It's all gone, and Fizz is going to be sitting very low on HP, without any health pots, without any health packs, and we actually see Bane mid coming out on top right now, and the only saving grace for Fizz is his 10 CS lead.
So right now, Bane mid is pushing the minion wave into Rembones. Rembones will not get all in anytime soon, even though Bane mid is full health, right? Because Remington has the gap closers available and the mobility to be able to get away from Bane mid. Should he go for an all-in? Bane mid did burn his flash just then, so that means he won't have that gap closer for this next all-in. So how can he really get onto Rembones, right? He's going to have to play aggressive on the minion wave. If Rembones is able to respect it like he is right now, then he can just use the troll pole to get away anytime he wants. Garen tries to run in to try to silence him before that, then he could get some damage off, but the problem is Bane mid just not playing that aggressive right now.
Yeah, there's only really one way that I think Bane mid is going to be able to win this game through farm, and to make up for the CS difference or deficit that he's already in, and that's going to be a freeze. He's going to have to be able to freeze the minion wave just outside of his tower range, and anytime the Fizz comes up to try to farm anything, because he's melee, he has to walk very far up. Just going for a very quick Q trade, forcing the Fizz back to say, I'm the winner right now. And so I'm hoping to see from Bane mid right now is exactly that. He shouldn't be using his spin on this wave because the minions are going to just start pushing back right now and give Rembones a chance to farm again. But if we do get that freeze eventually, there's no way that Rembones will ever be able to win this game because, in farm, in kills, in towers, or anything like that, Garen just automatically wins.
And you can see Rembones employing a freeze of his own, right? Letting the wave collect outside his tower and kind of using the pressure or the pseudo pressure in this matchup. He's playing kind of mind games, right? He knows that he's losing the matchup, but still freezing the wave. Garrett could just come up and clear the wave immediately, but Rembones opting for now a slow push into Bane mid's tower. The wave's going to be about in the middle of the lane at this point. And now Bane mid has the option. Is he going to go for it, play aggressively on the Rembones, or just allow Rembones to push into him as he is right now?
Yep, I think that this matchup is really coming down to who's got better control of the minion wave, because I think that Rembones has learned the hard way that he's not gonna be able to win in a straight up 1 versus 1. That the champion just doesn't like this matchup doesn't work like that, and it's gonna come down to who's got the better wave mechanics.
Yeah, so Bane mid actually burned the flash right there, trying to get onto Rembones, who's playing extremely far up, maybe trying to take advantage, but his ultimate comes out. Chum the Water's not doing too much damage. Bane mid just extremely tanky, has the Phage, and just the built-in resistances in the Garen kit. Now just freezing the wave outside of his turret, just like you said. But the problem is, I don't believe that he's going to go in for a Q trade. No, he's gonna definitely, yeah, he has to do this right now. Zone away Rembones, try to build a CS lead. The problem is now he's pushing the wave right into Rembones, and Rembones gonna be able to farm very safely.
Yeah, and I think that it's interesting when you think about player experience difference. So like you see that Rimbones is coming into this matchup the clear favorite because he's got a higher rank. And that could manifest in a couple different ways. Maybe he's able to like out mechanic and always kill his opponent, or there's a lot of different ways for that to happen. But what we're seeing right now is just better wave management coming out from Rimbones, knowing better knowledge of what the minions are doing, why they're doing it, how he can manipulate it. And we see Bane mid going for these trades right now, but it might just be too little too late, seeing that Rimbones has expanded his 10 CS lead to a 20 CS lead, and might be looking to freeze his wave right now.
Yeah, you can see him pulling the minion wave to the side, trying to do as much as he can, freeze it, but it ends up going into the turret anyway. Now, I believe this one will end up slow pushing, and he's actually just going to continue to slow push it himself. It's going to be right around his tower, but the minions are way too close, so that means he won't be able to freeze it really at all. And Bane mid waiting in the bush right now, trying to trade onto Rembones, but he's giving him a lot of respect. Rembones now at 65 CS, he's a 24. No, yeah, 20, no, 34. Yeah, 32 now away from the 100 CS win condition. And he's going to really go for it. He, like we said, he doesn't have any kill pressure in this matchup. He won't be able to kill Bane mid. Bane mid just trying to look for potential cheese right now. He's actually just waiting in the bush at this point. We can't see it on the camera because of fog of war, but he's kind of just threatening Rembones right now. He's 30 CS now. Rembone's asking all chat, where you at? Kind of just taunting him as if he doesn't know. And now Bane mid just waiting on the CS wave. Rembone's going to try and move forward. He knows that he can't get any of the CS right now, actually. He has to play extremely safe, and Bane mid going to happily let this crash into his tower.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing right now is the looming of a looming inevitability. If Rimbones continues this play style, where he's able just to just farm up and manipulate the waves so that he's getting more farm over time, it's going to go his way. And I think we're seeing Bane mid is really trying to compute, like how do I stop this? Like how do I stop this from happening? Because he is the champion that's stronger in this matchup, but it really comes down to him being able to manipulate the waves in a way that abuses his champion's strengths, because right now we
I'm trying to get Rembones to play this matchup more aggressively because I want to cast something exciting. I know Rembones personally. I don't know if he really wants to take the 100 CS victory as a player, and you know him even better than me. He's an extremely aggressive player, and he knows he's extremely unfavored in this matchup, though.
Yeah, and I don't know if he'd be happy with winning this matchup in such a like it's almost like a timid way. Like he's accepted that he's not going to be able to outright beat his opponent, so he's just trying to find any way to beat him that he can. And that's not really the virtuous way to win. It's but in the League of Legends world, in terms of 1v1s, it's always more exciting to see a kill. And I do support tactical play. That there's something to say. We do see Bane mid going for the all-in here with the flash, but we do see that with Fizz being level 15, he does have actually a ton of base HP stacked up, and so Garen is unable to one-shot him since this is a 1v1 on the Howling Abyss. There's no backing, so where that might have worked in like the Summoner's Rift where he's got items, that just doesn't work here anymore.
right here now, Bane mid continuing to go forward. He knows that his I guess his opportunities are very they're dwindling at the moment, and he is about 14 CS away from losing this matchup. Rembone's just playing forward, using his mobility to get away from a potential all-in, and Bane mid no longer has flash, so he doesn't have that gap closer. Still has the ignite. And he has to make a move, and he has to make a move soon. You can see Bane mid just constantly going forward with his Q right now and trying to kind of close the gap with just his base and bonus movement speed, but it's just unable to do so. Rembo's now moving forward. He has about 91 CS, so he's waiting on this next few CS. Every CS that he gets is so critical to winning this matchup. He's gonna get another one right there, now at 93, 7 away. Bane mid moving forward, trying to zone Rembones off of the CS, but he's unable to do so. Rembones actually misses 2 right here. Now Bane mid playing in the minion wave. He's looking for it, throws out the silence. Now Bane mid retreating towards his turret. Trump the Waters is going to miss as well. Now Rembone's going for the health pack, playing this one very defensively.
Yeah, I think that this game is with 93 farm. The Fizz is really heavily favored to win this game. But you know, hats off in every way to Bane mid, being able to actually bully the Fizz. You know, while the Fizz has been able to manage the waves. Like, this is a clear domination from Bane mid, despite the rank difference, and so that's really good to be able to see that that Bane mid is able to use his rank.
Oh,
Wait, hold up!
just a second, he's dying.
Wait, hold up!
He's dying. There's blood. Oh my goodness!
What?
Mid. What alpha?
Wait, what?
Blood under the turret. Rembone has nowhere to go. Exhaust even comes out and he picks it up, ties it the series at 1-1.
I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. but it happened. You know, Bane mid it. I was just talking about it. While he was losing the game the entire time in the farming department, he was finally able to actually utilize his strength as a bully in this matchup to a lethal extent. He was actually able to pull out the win under the tower, and I didn't expect that because we hadn't seen that out the entire game. We hadn't seen that level of trading, and you know that's just very exciting. That's a very exciting outcome, and you know moving into this third match, I'm really hyped. I'm not sure what to expect, but you know this is not a blowout by any means.
Yeah, most definitely. And this is the only series in the tournament that has not gone 2-0. And keep in mind that we saw Bane mid play already, right? This is exactly how he picked up both of his wins in the first round. He was losing in the CS department, losing in the turret department. We counted him out, and all of a sudden he found the all-in that he needed to be able to win this game. And you can never count Bane mid out for that reason.
Yeah, that was actually really, really well done. I didn't expect that he was gonna just go for the all-in tower dive, and I didn't expect him to go for the all-in tower dive, but I really didn't expect it to work, and that's that's it's just a double whammy, and I'm really happy to see that come out of this tournament. So I think that this champion select is really going to determine who comes out on top, because both players have at this point shown that they can play more than one champion, and they've shown that they can pick and counterpick each other in ways that are game determining. And so right now both players are going to have to really put a lot of thought into what their opponent is going to do, and think about why they're doing it and how they can try to counteract that. Does Bane mid go back to the Garen that just allowed him to beat a player that's significantly higher ranked than him, or does he go back to his roots in Fizz, expecting Rimbones to try to change up his gameplay? And I just have no idea what's going to happen.
And I'm really, really excited now. Rembone's now in the last game of the tournament. We'll see what champion he brings out. Now, I believe that 4 unique champions are going to bring it to 5 here with the lock-in. You guys can't see it. I won't spoil it for our viewers out there. But something quite spicy. It is a Rembone signature as well. I wonder if Coach Luz knows which champion I'm talking about.
I think there's a high chance. And for the people watching, I do want to make a quick note that because of the limited registration for this tournament, I did have to ask a personal friend, the lowest ranked personal friend that I could think of, to join the tournament, and that was Rimbones. Um, I'm thankful that he's here, and that's why we can reference him sometimes in a personal way. But talking about this game more specifically, uh, Nidalee versus Tristana. Like what? What? I this is crazy. I didn't expect either of these players to pull out these champions really in this finals match, and it's going to be really exciting to see who comes out on top, seeing as they both have exhaust. Tristana went for the more aggressive ignite, and Nidalee ended up going for the flash, but like this could go any one of 100 ways. And I really don't know how this matchup is going to work. I think that Tristana is going to have an auto attack advantage. Like if both champions are trading just auto attacks, Tristana is going to come out on top. Um, but actually, now that I'm putting more thought into this, if I were playing this matchup in the mid lane right now, I would give it to Tristana.
Yeah,
I
in
think
all honesty, it goes to Tristana because Tristana is going to be able to bully Rembos. Rembos has that all-in potential, and throwing these spears, Bane mid just has to dodge them, but it's going to be really easy by just playing through the minion wave, in all honesty. He can't play to the side like he is right now, he has to play kind of just across from Rembos. He has to pretend there's a string, but here he goes for the all-in. This might end very soon. Exhaust comes out, and Rembones, congratulations, is the champion.
Oh my god. How do we go from a game that was almost reaching 100 CS to a game that ends with the first minion wave crashing? I mean, this has been a crazy series. Serious props to both players for putting up their highest level of play. This it was really good. And what we saw there in that trade was Tristana going in for the aggressive exhaust ignite trade and just being unable to land the rocket jump damage, and then just being outbursted by the Nidalee. Let me try to get back here. Perfect. Okay, and what a lot of people don't know is that Nidalee historically was actually played as an assassin-like champion way back in like season 2 or 3. And she was actually played as a laner with AP. And so Nidalee's roots as a champion actually is like an assassin. She does have a ton of burst, and a lot of people don't expect that. So although Bane mid, it might be a less experienced player and lost because of an old Nidalee trick. Serious props for being able to come out on top in that second match. We do see though Remington or Rimbones coming into the first place position. I think a surprise to no one, but well played and GG to all the players that showed up for today's tournament. I don't know if Duelos, you have anything left to say?
No, I don't really have any final words. Congratulations to Rembones. A great showing from honestly all players of the tournament. I felt like no game was a complete blowout. There's definitely moments where every single player could have taken a game. So really great congratulations, and I look forward to see some of these future players at Limestone Esports.
Yeah, and with that said, thank you all for tuning in and dealing with the stream difficulties. And just so you know, like why the stream has been like going back and forth and been really weird. Essentially, anytime I do anything, and this is the first time this has ever happened in any of my streams, the scenes will change. So essentially, I can control what you guys can see when, with what videos, if you can see the game, if you can't see the game, and it just changes randomly. So this is something that I'm gonna have to go back and look and try to fix, but hopefully by the time that we have our next tournament in either Rocket League or in Valorant, we will be able to have no technical difficulties whatsoever. But yeah, once again, thanks to Duelos for joining me on the cast. This is a really exciting tournament. I'm excited to do more League of Legends tournaments. Hopefully we can have more more people sign up for things like this going forward. But thanks a million, and this is Coach Lewis signing off.